games. Remember, this is the 2-0 bracket. So you do move on to quarterfinals. If you win, you are not eliminated if you lose. And let's get into that draft to update it.
Poppy immediately taken out, as is the Azir, feeling like pretty tournament standard bans, although Kyle obviously did have a very incredible performance on it. Bard going to be the next ban. Rare to see it this early, to be honest, but we are getting further in, right? This is the first day of best of threes we had, the first time we've kind of returned to Fearless after those 2 days of best of one.
And it is a good ban versus Kyle, so some respect shown there. Meanwhile, the Kiana ban, also a good one versus Jinja, so respect on both sides.
A lot of like a handshake, a little tip of the hat from both teams. What's the last one going to be? And I feel a lot of tension in these picks, Toby. Even though, as you highlighted, the loser's absolutely not out. Still plenty of opportunities to qualify to the quarterfinals. These games have been so close. Kai'Sa will be the final one, banned every single game by CFO. Something Hope is, of course, exceptionally good at and plays very well into how AL like to fight.
All right, what's the last one? Are we leaving up the Talia? Because after Orianna and Ryze, Talia is kind of the all-arounder mid-lane champ. I really do like building Talia comps as well. There are so many things that can set up the seismic shoves well. Gives you that mobile ultimate, looking for global plays. Stuffs a lot of the like dash champions in the current meta as well. I don't know if it's necessarily first pick worthy, but we'll see for CFO here. Meanwhile, the jungle pool does get whittled down a little bit. Vi and Jarvan are kind of the two main premier ones still up.
Trundle
so
as
we'll
well.
see. There she is.
All right, Talia, of course, as you highlighted, super flexible champion. Semi-global pressure, fills that role of a control mage, has decent setup, decent follow-up, and denies so many of the dash-focused meta champions, which is most meta champions in most metas, right? Mobility kind of king here. Is the Alistair now going to get picked up, banned from away from Kaiwing in previous games. That would be Kyle getting his hands on the pick.
And the Trundler. Tarzan Trundle locked in. Watch out. Could possibly go for some early invades. Let's see. Is going to pose a problem as far as picking a tank for the top side too. And that's kind of annoying when you're on blue side. You're generally going to have a more of a tendency to pick tanks or like Renekton or something blind. Something blind. Yeah. So if you see Trundle and you're like, well, can't blind.
Gotta blind something.
Tanks anymore. Well, I mean, you can still if there's a Trundle, but it just makes it way worse. So.
No, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think that the struggle here too is you already have one, a mobile champion. Talia obviously has the ultimate, but generally a mobile champion against a Trundle pillar. You have an Alistair who will get interrupted by the minefield, but it's going to be a little bit tough for Honku if he does fall behind, or if AL are first on the play in this one to really get the same impact that he had in that first game on Aurora, right? A flawless game from him. Game 2 also tough. They shut down the Akali so well. So need to see what the Talia can do even in the face of a pick like this Trundle. Lock in here in the first rotation is going to be the Vi. So stock standard, really impactful level 6. Maybe see some Q flash plays early on.
Yeah, this is our classic combo. Vi ultimate into seismic shoves just guarantees that one. Or as you say, you can gank before level 6 and do your Q flashes. By the way, we did have a Q flash come up. Okay, yeah, LeBlanc lock in.
No, go ahead.
Has been gaining a lot of popularity after the distortion buffs. I think rightfully so. The one thing that is annoying for LeBlanc is point and click CC though.
True.
Because LeBlanc likes to play mid-game and stuff later as this annoying, like, semi-poke champ herself going in for distortion combos. And if you have point-and-click CC, then you can actually put a stop to that. And so if you have Vi, for instance, or, Vi is actually weird because it's delayed. And so the LeBlanc can, like, pull you back into danger. So
it can be dangerous. But the Ruthless Predator on the Renekton, if you dive in.
You can flash Renekton, W stun her, yeah. Then those are some options. You have to be a little bit careful on your choices when you're playing LeBlanc, and the enemies do have point and click. And obviously, I guess the Vi has to be careful too, because if you distortion and bring the Vi ultimate back into a bad spot, then you gotta be a little careful.
It goes both ways. It is no doubt an important consideration. And I will say we've seen this Talia LeBlanc matchup once already. We saw it yesterday. Jojo Pune on the Talia, Caps on the LeBlanc. Early on, Caps really got shut down, right? It can be really tough against the Unraveled Earth of the Talia to play the lane phase. But as you go later, if you're forced to play side lane against LeBlanc, it's a champion who has so much damage and who has such an easy time dodging the vast majority of what Talia does when she doesn't have someone else to help her set that up.
All right. Okay, so no Draven for Doggo this whole series. Dang. Some people were definitely kind of looking forward to another one of those.
Some people wonder who they could beat.
But not going to be an option for that or for any of those swaps to get him some 1v1 time. Meanwhile, they're trying to take out these carries for Hope. At least, okay, just that one, and take away the protection ban here. Jace be really annoying for for Renekton.
Yeah. I've heavily whittled down the 80 carry pool, hence a lot of the more creative hovers we're seeing from Hope.
I do like this long range follow up and poke damage to complement your LeBlanc pick. Jhin and LeBlanc is a really, really fun combination for your 2 carries. It's not a lot of DPS, but because they early picked the Trundle, they don't have to worry about pure tanks, and they don't have to worry about tank stats anyway, because they have a Trundle ultimate. So even though you have LeBlanc and Jhin that aren't great at killing tanks, you have got a Trundle, which is.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the opposite idea of the Kai'Sa, right? Rather than a Kai'Sa who follows up on the dive by diving in as well, Jin's the guy who gets to set up the dive by staying in the back, gets to open Optim with a curtain call and play cleanup in these fights. It's a nice angle to be. Now, I was curious if we were going to see the Smolder. Instead, it's the MF. So really wanting some lane priority here. MF, notorious bully early on, builds the Bloodthirster.
Seraphine is also notorious lane priority.
Yeah.
And works well. You make it rain with Misfortune, and you can actually like throw out the double cast from Seraphine, and since Make It Rain is so quick, then you can make it rain as that is going out.
Yeah.
And turn the double cast quickly
From
into the
slow
stun.
into snare into stun. Yeah, it's a super powerful setup.
But not going to be the case. We don't actually get to see it this time around because you could have gotten swapped around. Like, they can red 5, pick something that's good for swaps here for AL and then just swap away from that. So reduces that possibility a little bit. And CFO just go with the more standard Nautilus to get the engage. Flandra Rek'Sai.
Rek'Sai is a pick that, we've seen Flandra on it before, right? Even if you fall behind, the champion could still be so obnoxious to play against, especially, again, Honkyu feels like the guy who has to be playing so safe, Doggo as well, in the context of this series. And CFO with what I would describe as, honestly, like one of this year's most standard drafts. It's good for a reason, right? These are all picks that have been good at different points in the minute. They're all very safe picks, whereas AL are cooking a little bit more. You have the LeBlanc Jhin combo. You have this Trundle Rek'Sai topside.
I gotta be honest, I do like the cook. I do like the LeBlanc Jhin
I am
combo.
also liking the cook, yeah.
Because with how bloody these have been, and it's definitely AL can definitely force tempos, can definitely force aggressive early game, can definitely, force these scattered fights where LeBlanc and Jhin can just thrive. LeBlanc goes in, annoying distortion, burst combinations, Jhin W's follows up. And you have Tarzan here on his Trundle who can move in aggressively off of any of those plays and kind of be the point man here going into enemy jungle. So I gotta be honest, I do like this cook from AL, even though the CFO side is like you're saying, definitely something we're used to seeing, is a really standard team comp as they go. I just I don't see a huge amount of value out of a Misfortune ultimate. Maybe I'll be proven wrong on that, and they have a Vi ult and a Nautilus ult, so they can point and click on a couple people and make sure, but we'll see here. The deciding game to see who will join KT in the quarterfinals. Be the second team to make it through.
Beijing alive with the sounds of Zhayo, fuel for AL. They cooked a bit of a draft. Need that support now. Of course, again, for both sides, it's about qualifications. It's about making out of Swiss as quickly as you can. Get the luxury, the time to prep for quarterfinals. You won't know your matchup, but you get to learn the meta better. You get to pick whoever you want to scrim against. It's a huge boon for either one of these teams. We're keeping our eyes on this level 1 because you highlighted it, right? Very stock standard. Both teams know exactly what CFO's composition is going to do. They've played as it, they've played against it so many times. So for CFO, are they going to try anything new? Any creative level 1 pathing? Their initial invade spotted out. Shanks and Honku already starting to trade in the mid lane.
Standard lanes as well. Rejoice. Does mean that we get a lot of possibility of action, especially in a Nautilus Alistar lane. Both junglers are currently starting bottom side though, and clearing toward the top side matchup anyway.
Immediate barrier.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Don't you love Misfortune early game?
Is quite impressive.
Oh.
They are being reminded of firsthand as another barrier is going to come out in response. He has to be careful not to get low against the Jhin, but overall you can see why they would pick it, right? Smolder for the composition, maybe some scaling angles. Might have been an argument, but in terms of winning this lane early on, the Nautilus MF is damn impressive.
Yeah, love the early Misfortune damage. You can make use of the passive, double tap, make use of your Q burst with your press the attack, and
Oyster has like half an ability at level 1. Nautilus has a passive and a Q.
Yeah. It allows them to get the push for sure. As we said though, both junglers are pathing towards that top side matchup instead. Trundle a little bit ahead, though he's on vision, so will be fully tracked.
Of course, slows down a bit as he gets to the multi-target camps, but just doing his best to keep up. CFO using their prio to allow Kaiwing to roam up towards the mid lane. On Q level 3, as is Shanks.
So you see that ping right there too, through river. Even though they don't have vision on Kaiwing, bottom lane, this is just good comms. Hey, they pushed us in. Could be a Nautilus support towards mid, and the immediate yellow ping, the retreat ping through river. So even though the wards didn't quite spot him.
Kyle. Initial engage, follow-up CC is there. Heal forced out from CFO. Hook to re-engage on the Kyle, but just trying to even out a trade that is wildly in favor of Hope and Kyle.
Yeah, nice job by AL duo lane. Take advantage while Kaiwing's making his way back to the lane. And the Alistar sustain coming in quite nice for them as well.
You can see in the top lane though, Rest trying his best to bully Flandre out, not give him any chances to trade autos and heal up with that Rek'Sai passive when he's underground. Nice flick from Honku. Prio in the middle lane again, as expected in the early levels. Kyle, nice headbutt back to stop Kaiwing from freezing the wave as well, so that's going to mean a few less CS for Doggo to walk home to.
Meanwhile, the first buy is the Cole refillable for Doggo. So we are going to be a farming.
I like how I was hyping it up. I was like, it's going to be fist fights. It's going to be great. We'll be here for a little while.
And Misfortune is very good in swaps, like mid and late game swaps because of the strut. So refillable gets a lot of value because you can strut back to lane very, very quickly. So Doggo there with the refillable, and then of course you always get that mid game where it's real nice. You get your BT and you kind of cruise into mid lane.
Yeah, part of her kit that's been nerfed multiple times because it was so good. Back was like MF Thresh in early 2020s. Still incredibly powerful to have that strut, that additional movement speed, and Doggo pretty comfortable, right? Cole Doran's a lot of baseline sustain in this 2v2 matchup, keeping up pressure thus far as Kaiwing starts to come in. Ninja and Tarzan pretty close in terms of overall clear. A few more CS. And it's calm, it's quiet. Level 6, I expect to be the big break point. See Junja with ulti be able to be more active on the map. A similar story for Doggo, Kaiwing as well.
So also, rushing into Executioners versus Rek'Sai, everyone's always complaining about Rek'Sai's sustain. Does Executioners make a meaningful dent in that lane? Or is it still like, oh, the sustain is still annoying?
I think it's still annoying, but presumably 40% less annoying.
But like then Rek'Sai like backs off, and you can go underground later and like get your sustain later.
You want to check? You're in the game.
I mean, we'll check
find the number later. We'll find the number later
as they get more time to use it. I feel like it's just kind of like you're.
The question is it worth delaying?
You're throwing like a single bucket of water on a raging
fire,
brush fire or something.
But you can say you're helping.
Yeah, but we'll see. As of now, they're both just farming contently. So.
Yeah. Is it performative anti-healing or is it meaningful anti-healing?
Exactly. Again, it's still going to be like, oh, there's a Trundle in the game. You can get some value there. There's an Alistar in the game. You know, there'll be some value there.
Rest clearly very focused on the lane, right? Because it is 800 gold delaying your Spur Spike. You're not building a Chempunk Chainsword, so keep an eye on it as we go further. Monkey and Shanks just continuing to trade. Junja getting closer and closer to that level 6, as is Tarzan. It's Junja who feels comfortable to start this Drake on Vision, admittedly, but bot lane unsurprisingly has prio. Again, this is why you see this Nautilus MF. There are concerns as to how it's going to function in the overall composition, but the early lane phase is incredibly dominant, something that Hope and Kyle are respecting.
I mean, you're not going to get away with this. Ocean Dragon slows as well, so it can be annoying to disengage from. Teleport comes down to fully commit, though, for CFO, and that's going to scare off the rest of AL. So good job fully committing. CFO, get it. Is the entry back to mid going to lose anything? I guess like one melee off screen dying, another one dying.
Like 3 total.
Okay, so they lose a tiny bit for the teleport down to the other side.
So that is Honkyu's TP advantage spent. Shanks will now have his up sooner. He did use it earlier just to get back to lane. So a potential window of opportunity, but again, no fights yet.
Yeah. And I mean, you apply the Executioners and then like Rek'Sai backs off, and you can kind of wait for it to fall off even before you go burrow again and stuff. But we'll stop talking about that one. We'll have some better. We'll have some better interactions.
You're so upset.
Not upset.
You're not convinced.
It's not upset. I'm just questioning.
I think the Zeka not building tier fundamentally shook your faith in professional players. That's my theory.
Are we going to get a mid-scrap, though, on support room timers? Because the grubs will be the prize either way.
It's true. AL first to start it. Tarzan feeling quite comfortable. It's not really a great position for CFO to contest. They have level 6, they have MF ult, but way better vision setup. They might be able to get one. That seems the most likely trade. AL immediately going to back away. I think that makes sense. No reason to commit to the fight once CFO are able to arrive. Just be happy with 2 that you basically got for free.
Okay, content with that. So 1 objective feat point for each side with the 2 grubs for AL. Honestly, seems like it's still going to be the calm reset there. We do have the LeBlanc rotated to bottom, though. So this is going to make it a little bit more interesting. And they're still sending Misfortune Nautilus back down here. So CFO are not answering the AD carry swap to mid. Nope. And it's just going to be the Jhin versus Taliyah in mid. So control wards are fine for the Jhin down there on the bottom side, keeping the bottom side a pretty easy save. But pings for a top side play, everybody else is going to join. So Taliyah ulti is ready.
Flandra backing up. Burrowed under the ground using tower a bit early. TP coming out. CFO just immediately back up. I like that discipline. Didn't want to risk giving anything away to Shanks. LeBlanc getting those early kills, just not worth the trade. Doggo instantly ults wave, knowing Shanks is no longer there, and will take the opportunity for a clean reset. But in the meantime, AL still managing to get a little bit more gold out of this one. Junja flashing out to avoid the chains, locking him down. So AL winning out on the trade, despite losing the TP.
Okay, turret plate in mid lane. Nice movement from Honku to dodge the chain, but as you say, you know, the flash from Junja. So maybe you can put some pressure there.
Lose a plate mid, lose a wave bottom. Very close trades, very close exchanges.
Yeah.
Neither side able to really generate a greater advantage quite yet. Doggo very close to that first item completion. Didn't feel the need to stop off for boots. Again, courtesy of the strut. Getting that Bloodthirster means he's going to be able to be a lot more aggressive in these mid lane trades.
So mid game, AL's comp is going to have a lot of burst damage. If they can get kills, then I like it. If they don't, then there is a high chance that they run out of damage for later. Unless the Trundle can get really big too. The Trundle can have some pretty big value there as well. But if LeBlanc and Jhin don't get any kills, then CFO might have a pretty manageable situation. We'll see though. Of course, no kills for either side as of yet. And we'll have to wait another minute for the dragon. But
Shanks stunned, but a nice pullback means that
Alistar behind. Alistar headbutt.
Through. Kyle not quite able to get the angle. Rest flashing out, immediately going to pop the dominance. Tarzan coming to the wall. Rest very likely to fall. Q healing. That's the cold of meat, keeping him standing for an extra second. He wants to dash out, but down he goes. Shanks with first blood.
Very nice overstay there. Kyle still behind an enemy jungle. He is warding up. Bottom side.
Just a big rock. Not enough to finish off Flandre. Flash out as well. Good job surviving on the bottom side from the AL top laner.
Yep. Rek'Sai lives. Renekton does not. The Alistar here, Kyle making the difference, sticks around, keeps the Renekton locked up so that the LeBlanc does get a kill. Dracos, well, that's exactly what we were worried about. Now the LeBlanc, this
what was
burst
the
damage.
threshold? Did you want 1 kill? Did you need 2 kills before AL got scary? I think 1 might be enough, because that's a Luden's opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Ludens plus your 2 stacks on your Dark Seal. I'm scared. That's some good burst damage. No flash on the Renekton either now. And Renekton will be a bit delayed on the first item on the Black Cleaver. Here comes
Tarzan running in. Junda does have the Sundered Sky, just barely able to get away from that giant water bottle. This is the worst part about very serious games in League of Legends is sometimes someone just picks a goofy skin and you're like, here they are, fighting for their life.
Yeah, it's like one of those, it's one of those water bottle rockets that are for you to set off. And anyways, the timing on that is actually important, you know. Junja goes for a little bit of a shorter release on the Q so he doesn't get interrupted, but topside.
Knock back on the Flandre. Has access to the tunnel, but not quite. Oh, he's going to be able to get in range. Even with the healing reduction. Able to get enough help. Waiting over the wall, though. Who could it be? It's the Vi. It's Junja. Flandre living for an extra second, but it'll be Hongq grabbing the kill. Of course, in the meantime, the counter punch is coming through on the bottom side from anyone's legend. Tower under siege.
So they do increase the gold lead here. Again, they attack side lane. This time, CFO are the ones to kill enemy top laner. The race for the tower, though, they're usually won by Trundles with Trinity Forces.
Yeah. Trinity Force people in general, and then above that, Trundles with Trinity Force. And that's the thing, right? These item spikes coming through, due in part to that first kill on the top side, means Shanks and Tarzan got theirs a little bit quicker, able to provide that threat, and now denying CS in bottom lane.
And you give the solo, you give the gold to the LeBlanc here. Quickly funnel this burst damage. So Shanks cashes in. Topside, they didn't even actually get to finish Answer on the next wave, and there's still a full...
Doggo, chunking out Hope, wants to get a plate of his own, and kind of important that he does get something else back as he's running relatively low on mana. The Bloodthirster keeps the health up, but can't give him the additional resources in the top lane. Hongq zoned off, as you highlighted, right? They're not able to finish that tower.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of the most frustrating position to be in from CFO. You do still have your mid lane tier 1, but when AL have push, when you see LeBlanc disappear into Fog of War, the game just gets so hard to play.
Honestly, too, the champ is so annoying when it's good, and the champ is so annoying when it's fed. Just got level 11. It's rank 2 ultimate for Shanks. You know, 2 stacks on the Dark Seal in addition to the burst damage from Ludens that we talked about. So that plus Jhin possibilities of picking people off are definitely there. However, so far this game has been mostly trades. It has been mostly answers, pretty equivalent from each side.
Maybe both sides comfortable in their scaling. But of course you can see here on the Coinbase gold grind, Shanks doing pretty good. Got a lot of money. The additional Hextech alternator on top of the Sork shoes means, well, the first person he sees is dead.
You know who else has burst damage? Misfortune. Doggo's also doing pretty good for himself. And he got his Bloodthirster. He even has durability with the plated steel caps here. So this Misfortune that we're wondering about, we just saw him get a big chunk combination with his ulti versus Hope. And the ulti's almost back up again.
Need to see.
But not quite.
AL getting ready to contest this. Flandre in the bottom lane does have access to the TP if he needs to come. Shanks hopping over the wall looking for a bit of that poke. TP now coming in for Flandre. Skirmish line set up. Eyes on Doggo for that ulti. Hongq dividing the fight with the wall, but Tarzan interrupts him with a pillar. Flick back onto Kyle is good. Flandre looking for the multi-man knockup. Doggo still standing, holding off that ultimate. 2 more seconds, but there the bullets go. Doggo grabbing the kill on Kyle. AL retreating, but they're not leaving quite yet. The curtains have been called. Doggo backing off, slowed for a brief moment. Junja splitting his attention, wants to finish the Herald, but Tarzan there, ready. A Q smite potential to come through, but Tarzan has no flash. CFO secure the Herald.
Doggo is the bigger carry here. They just melt through the front line. Alistar ult, don't care. They have a Talia. Put the rocks down, get the shove back, isolate the front target, just burn through them. Here we go.
Q. Knock was there. Blunder's starting to do pretty good damage with the team match. Shanks on the way in as well. Q surely is just going to fall. That's the ulti from Blunder to get another one down. Junji wants to make it the hell out, but he can't. Tarzan flashing forward, the body block. The Vault Breaker breaking absolutely nothing, and Shanks gets another.
Game 3 here. AL answer back, trying to keep it close. They do so. They get 2 kills for themselves. That is feats of warfare collected. So even though CFO are able to section off here. Again, good Talia wall, keeps the Trundle out. They kind of zone right there, put down the rocks. Kyle gets burned down. Doggo finishes off with the ulti, and then they get their objective, but it's in the follow-up play. Yeah, and this Jingle, there's not a lot of opportunity for, replay, so it just kind of delays here. And we're just going to finish the Rift Herald. But then afterwards, once CFO feel content and they feel like everything's chill, top side, re-attack. Nice job there from AL to still look for those opportunities to make use of their burst damage. They get Rek'Sai ultimate to finish off the kill. The LeBlanc here up to 2 kills. That's 5 stacks now for Shanks, continuing to increase some of this threat here. So really nice answer. Rift Herald, it's decent, and it should basically guarantee mid tower, which is really nice. You can just the mid tower is already so low that you can just pop it mid as long as you guarantee it gets the engage off, which it very well should, unless Trundle is there and can foil you with a pillar. Then that should mean that the Rift Herald will guarantee mid, and topside is guaranteed here from Hongq. So tower collection time for CFO, dragon collection time for AL.
Of course, when you look at both teams, the gold is very clear where the teams have advantage. Doggo 1.4K gold lead for himself. More healing reduction coming out. Second full item is going to be, and then it's Shanks. 2-0-1, 400 gold lead doesn't seem massive, but he's really going to start hurting here as Kaiwin's able to block most of the damage with the Celestial opposition. Now the Herald charge going to come through. Waiting, the interrupt isn't quite there. Instantaneous ulti coming in from Doggo. CFO don't hesitate to pull the trigger, and it might just be 2 quick kills in the blink of an eye. Shanks trying to get more damage down, but Junja is still standing.
That is so well coordinated again from CFO. Just as they kill the tower, Junja's already pre-ulting on Vi. They get the lockdown for the Misfortune ultimate, and 2 towers taken for CFO.
And this is so incredibly important to break open mid like this, to decrease the amount of passive map control AL have, because we know how important it is, how good LeBlanc can be when you have the vision advantage, but when CFO take control of the map like this, Shanks doesn't get to look for those creative angles.
Ah, man, just CFO have been really good in preparing these plays, these set plays they set up. Okay, so initially, I was talking about the Trundle pillar. That's why it looks weird, and just like weaving them around there. It's because he knows, and that's what they're playing around. But then they burst the tower down without that, then they ult right in. Under the Misfortune ult, Tarzan just gets completely one-shot. Really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really good. You need to be instant on that coordination, and now armor penetration coming in as well. So even the stats that Tarzan does steal will be a little bit less effective. Second item also on the way for Junja. And Shanks is going from the strongest member to very quickly to the last hope here in terms of overall gold advantage. It's not, huge differences across multiple lanes, but 3K lead for CFO. If they can keep setting up Doggo for success, I think the path to victory is pretty damn clear.
CFO, time and time again, really impressing with their plans, and then of course the execution as well. So let's see about the Otacon. This one obviously has been a game changer, and AL still definitely within striking distance, but I have to say they really do need to get into a poke position or into some fog of war here to make one of these snap plays and take advantage of having a 2-item LeBlanc. You've got a 2-item with upgraded boots now, so extra magic pen here as well for Shanks. Like, this is the time where you really have to make use of that piece of your puzzle. And if they could do that preemptively before an Otacon fight, then that would be huge. But currently, everybody on CFO has their summoner spells. So you kind of have to do 2 layers of work of like, we got to force somebody's flash and then really, to really open up a kill angle here. Yeah. Shanks is doing the trailing split push play.
But this is risky, right? If he shows, they'll immediately start Otacon. They already have. Important to note, Kaiwing also has exhaust. If he holds it, if he can use it on Shanks before that burst damage comes through, so much of that impact is going to be mitigated. Doggo walking in, he has the Bloodthirster, not afraid to tank some of this damage. Big chunk onto Hope. It is the Jhin, he can't stay in the back line, but we'll have to be careful. TP coming in from behind of CFO.
Camp that Telly.
Ball breaker ready to go, trying to jump in onto Flandre. Flandre immediately retreating. Wall splitting the entire fight. Hongq knocked away. Curtain call coming out. Last bullet not quite going to connect. One more coming in for Hope, but he can't get anything done. Ulti from Doggo doesn't do too much work, and it's Riverest who might be in trouble. Kyle backing away. 3K on the objective. All comes down to the smite on the Otacon. Ulti in to make sure he gets the pin. It's getting lower and lower. Who gets it in the end? AL keeping the fight going, but no! It's Tarzan in the clutch who manages to take the Otacon. Flandre with the foul up. The double. Make it a triple. And Shanks to run down Kaiwing as AL get everything.
AL, they put their flag in the dirt at Otacon. They clean up the fight. They clean up the objective. Let's take a look at it again. I mean, they did such a good job pushing Rest out, forcing him back, and then the Jhin W hits, and they're able to get the kill onto the front line and secure the Otacon. Okay, so Taliyah wall goes down, but okay, so Kyle got stunned over the rocks as he headbutted, so he couldn't get his combo off, so that's why Hongq got the live initially. Tarzan flashes away out of the Misfortune ult this time, and they burst down Rest, then kiting back. The Otacon is getting so low, so Junja goes in, he ults onto Tarzan to try and get it, and it's just a fair smite fight there. Tarzan coming up big, landing it. Wow, the rest of AL were able to finish off the kill the front line, and follow through with the fight.
And now, this is what makes AL's composition so terrifying. Once they're in the driver's seat, there's just no safe place on the map. You highlighted it beautifully, right? The ulti from Junja to make sure that he could get into the pit. Didn't need to use it for a kill, but in the 50-50, in a battle of pure skill, it's Tarzan who comes out on top in the smite fight, and AL who dominate the exchange. It was CFO with almost 4,000 gold in their advantage. Doggo almost 2K individually. Now starting to even up here as AL looking good in this mid game.
They certainly are. Dragon number 3 on top of the Otacon for AL. And now, the stacks that we were keeping track of for Shanks is fully stacked. He could upgrade it into a Medjai's to have the real painful LeBlanc game come through. 4 kills to his name already. And now is where you really have to conserve your CC and use it on the LeBlanc when the LeBlanc comes in, because it can just get so annoying if he keeps on going for these distortion combos and chunks people out.
Yeah.
Let's see what CFO can do to try and regain some control here, because AL just took such a massive lead in objectives.
The Otacon is such a huge advantage. Again, small gold lead, but the Otacon in terms of effective stats, in terms of XP, we've talked about it a lot over the course of the year, is huge. Soul point as well. 4 minutes till that objective. Only 50 seconds until the Baron. Jhin not normally the best at taking those objectives, but honestly, Trundle and Rek'Sai going to do a decent amount of work to help them secure it. CFO knowing that if they lose another big objective fight, it's going to be so difficult for them to come back into this one. And Shanks, for the first time, gets to do the LeBlanc thing. Moves in with support. They lay down vision. He can hide in the darkness, but instead it's Junja hiding in the darkness. Nice start onto Tarzan, but he's standing for an extra second. The full channel on the ulti as Doggo gets the kill. The pillar doesn't quite connect, and now it might be Kyle in trouble. Shanks waiting over the wall, trying to take down Doggo, but Doggo has the healing to stay standing. Shanks not able to get the kill down. Flandre, they want the follow. Doggo finally drops as it's Hope who finds the last shot. 2 more bullets left in the chamber. Might be able to get something done. Flandre retreating. AL on the way out. CFO continue to work their way back into the red buff jungle, but AL happy to have 2 kills picked up.
Jhin got it.
You gotta respect Hope, man.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so he hits another W, but really, Shanks over the back of the Krugs wall is what kind of pulls that back and saves it for AL. Even with AL losing the first member due to the pick inside jungle, because they have Shanks on the bottom side, this Jhin and LeBlanc burst damage we talked about, the re-engage, really good for AL, and they just poke and prod. That's so annoying to try and trap him, so annoying to try and keep him down. Hongq tried his best to follow and get the kill, but he couldn't track down Shanks. LeBlanc escaped out the bottom side with a little bit of HP left after just assassinating 2 targets there, taking down Junja, taking down Doggo. Really nicely kind of salvaged there for AL. And this is why we say it's so annoying to play against Fed LeBlancs like this. How do you get her back under control? Yes, you have Vi ultimate. Yes, you have the Nautilus ultimate. Those are point and click, but they're also kind of delayed with travel time. So yeah, there is a little bit of, ability to play around it still there. So we will see, but AL looking pretty dang good now since they've got the Dragon Soul possibility coming up in 2 minutes. Baron's on the map, so you can play with Vision a lot. Already having control on Baron and then threatening towards the other side of the map too.
And I think one of the big differences here is it's just so difficult for CFO, as you mentioned, to answer the LeBlanc. Unlike last game, right, when it was Hongq on the Akali, so many great tools, such good diligence to make sure Hongq could never do anything. Shanks has that freedom to go in and come right back out. So if you waste any cooldowns, you're going to lose out as Doggo caught by the pillar. Immediate Ghost comes in from Kai Wing. Dredge line will not connect, but always have to give respect to the pillar, just locking Dogdo down. Dogdo down.
True. I mean, I had worse slip-ups this tournament.
Nah, those were great.
Let's take a look about this Baron, though. I mean, empowered Scryer's Blooms are always fun to put a lot of extra pressure. And when you have those empowered Scryer Blooms, honestly, it really benefits LeBlanc. Those things clearing out extra vision, there's more pockets of Fog of War for LeBlanc deadly burst damage to come from. And I have to, you're going to have to be like, all right, we're just going to on-site Vi ult and Nautilus ult this LeBlanc. You know, we got to actually get a kill on her, but then she's got an arm guard. So there is an answer for those delayed timings on those point-and-click CCs.
And she got a book.
That's the matchups we were asking for, Dracos.
We were asking for. That's confidence from Shanks.
You can just play around. You can play around the answers from CFO. Okay, we did also mention flash W's from Renekton.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard to do also, but, you know.
I think the big thing here is...
Hey, that's an elixir as well. Shanks is going all in right now.
Shanks spent a lot of money to make sure they win this next fight.
And it's a Dragon Soul, so it's worth it.
Definitely is. I mean, it's well highlighted, Kobe, right? It can be so difficult. CFO don't have great follow-up to the buy. Rest can't even stay in range to get the empowered stun. Forced to ulti, double redemption used. Ball breaker interrupted by Kyle. Tarzan coming over the wall. Hongq isolated. Doggo is not in position. Hope able to play at range. AL perfectly timed bit of poke there to just chip cooldown, chip health bars down. No Weaver's Wall, no Dominus. An easy soul setup for AL.
Yep, there you go. How do you deal with the LeBlanc poke? AL, they're going to have the Chemtech Soul on top of it.
TP mid. Rest forced to backdash. Moving up to the top side, threatening the Baron. Of course, priceless moment of the game. Soul secured by AL.
I mean, CFO positioning on Baron, but like that's not scary. So you are...
What's the plan
here,
boys?
You're kind of blocked from your own base.
Kyle waiting over the wall. Oh my gosh, this is going to be devastating. Kyle goes over, immediate pop. Doggo tries to pull channel, but Kyle has the interrupt. Curtains calls, and now it's Shank and Flandre to follow up. CFO being routed, forced back. Hongq still standing. Doggo still alive for a brief moment, but it's the tag team of top jungle to tear him down. Hongq knocked out as well, and they don't need a Baron. They want the series. AL barreling down mid.
AL want that quarterfinal spot, and they're gonna take it.
AL with one final push. The patience, once they had the lead for Shanks, there was no coming back for CFO. Rest versus the world, a few moments to watch the wave come in, but is AL taken out in game one, bouncing back in game 2 and 3. They've taken down HLE, they've taken down Genji, and now it's CFO as they move on to the quarterfinals.
Nice recovery in the series for AL. Bringing out the LeBlanc Jhin combo.